Hello, it's Mama Rada. I'm getting some videos done today. I had a request from Sir Vibin with Run, which right now his channel name is Always Outrun. I'm pretty sure I'll tag him in the subject line or whatever it's called. Anyway, and the question was, do I believe that women are like inherently bad? And, well, I hate to say overwhelmingly, when I was younger, I would have said, no, women are angelic creatures who are just, naturally good. And there's only a few women that are not good, or evil. And I remember that my mom would tell me, that even the Indian Vedic scriptures would say that watch out for women, they're wicked and they're evil. And, basically that they're the downfall of men and would, take you away from your spiritual journey and all this kind of stuff. Um, and, of course, the Bible warns you about the wayward woman. The Bible does also have like an example of a well behaved woman or a good woman, but I believe that she was trained to be that way, like Proverbs 31. Uh, she's got all these great attributes and the way that she takes care of her family and everything, but a good woman is trained or built up to be that woman. What I have found is that women left to themselves are like a ticking time bomb, as Certified Been with Run or Always Outrun has done videos about and put it so well that we self destruct. We destroy ourselves without a good man leading us, keeping boundaries and good control over us, and teaching us. And uh, I mean, I look at the number of school teachers, that are doing predatory, bad things to children, young boys, taking advantage of them, raping them, and all sorts of evil things they should not be doing. Many of them are married with children of their own. Super creepy. Not to mention the first issue, which is the taking a life of their own children. I mean, abortion is the number one cause of death killer every year in this country for the last, since like 1970. So, between that and the fact that 80% of divorces are initiated by women, and it's usually because they're not happy, which is evil, to break up your family and put your children in the most high risk category that they can be in, which is to not have a father in the home. Um, the police, Obama, all different agencies have come out and said that fatherless children are at the number one risk of suicide, joining gangs, becoming thieves, ending up in jail, teen pregnancies, obviously drugs and alcohol, all kinds of bad things are coming out of being in a fatherless home. So knowingly doing that to your children on purpose, even if they get to spend some time in the home with the father, was it every other weekend? I mean, who knows? Sometimes it's split custody these days. But either way, they've broken the child, they've broken their home, and they've broken the kid's security, which again leads them to be at risk to all these things. These are evil things. That is definitely evil. Unfortunately, at my age now, 51 years old, um, over my lifetime, the majority of evil that I have seen in relationships has been caused by women. Only 1% has been men. Um, yeah, I literally, out of all the relationships I've seen, the woman was the instigator. She did things to escalate situations. She was physically abusive, emotionally abusive, um, tormented the poor men, you know, and I want to say even in the domestic violent relationships, very few that I have ever seen, it was like an instigation by the woman that led to the blow up by the man. So anyway, you know, it overwhelmingly seems that men are actually more inherently honorable, you know, and they take their duty and responsibility seriously. And they will stay in a family and a marriage that they're miserable in for the sake of their children and the family unit, which is incredible. Um, so, you know, I don't know if it's an evolutionary type of a thing where women had to survive, so they just manipulated, and you know they're not physically strong, so they use manipulation, emotional manipulation, sexual manipulation to get what they wanted, you know, in order to live a better life, you know. So I'm not sure. More than likely, that has something to do with why women are the way they are, but unchecked without male headship, it just takes a very ugly turn. And I mean, you look at now we have Harvard University has an OnlyFans model. I use that term lightly. Teaching a course, okay? And I also saw a study that said that the number one job, like 30% of women coming out of high school, are going into OnlyFans as a career. That is wicked and bad and self-destructive because it messes them up on what they think relationships with men are like and what men are like. And they will overlook the actual good men who would make good husbands. And, you know, they will feel like they always have so many options. And then one day they're going to wake up and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm 30, I'm 35, I'm 40, 45, 50, you know, and now they're alone and they missed out on having children, or if they have children, their children see their content, their friends see their mother's content, and that is, I mean, I believe that children have committed suicide because of being bullied because their mom has on the internet, you know. It's really, really horrible and it's wicked and it's awful. And it's very sad that, you know, women are, oh, we want freedom and liberation. Well, congratulations. How are you doing with it? You know, not well at all. And the gentleman, I don't remember his name, but he wrote a book where he studied all the civilizations in the history of mankind. And every single time they gave women freedom and liberation, sexual depravity followed, and basically a breakdown of society, and those civilizations failed. So that's pretty much my answer to that. Not good. You know, and I would tell people, Coda, no, that, you know, the West is always trying to make the East like us, right? And a gentleman named Anomaly has done very good independent journalism for years. And he said, so why are we trying to liberate Iran so they can have OnlyFans and, you know, whatever else he said, you know, pornography and things like that. They have a incredibly, like, you know, incredibly low divorce rate. Indian people also have very low, it's like 1% divorce rate. Families stay together, you know. Do they deal with things a little more harshly? Yeah, but you know what? There's like no crime in Dubai. You know, you could leave a Rolex on a bench and no one will touch it for a reason, because more than likely they'll take your hand if you get caught stealing. Just saying, you know, maybe our ancestors knew something. So anyway, it's getting too long, but hopefully that answers the question. And, you know, I'm grateful that I've had a good man, still have a good man from the time I was 14. We were 14 to 51 now, who has molded and shaped and helped me develop into a human being, you know. And I don't think I'm perfect, but I'm very grateful. that we've raised four amazing kids. They're all doing well. That's all a mom can ask. And, my husband still loves me, cherishes me, he's crazy about me. So, yay. And I give my husband full credit for helping me to be that woman. So, anyway, love you guys. Ciao. Bye.